The way it is, Senator Hassan Omar with us in studio, Mombasa County, Ambrose, Weda. Good morning, gentlemen.
Good morning.
So I remember seeing you as you tell us how you've been surrounded with kids and milk, and I imagined, Maziwa is back. Governor should consider also, Nairobi governor, getting everyone now, sorted milk-wise.
The county government of Mombasa decided to start a milk program.
Yeah.
And I want to re-emphasize again that I'm not part of the county government. I saw some people making hula baloo out of it. I'm part of the national government structure called the legislature. Therefore, the county government decided to start that milk program. We usually will go there in solidarity or to express our support. And it was based on a study by the Department of Children and Education, or Education and Children, which is headed by Mr. Tendai Tanalewa. And it did indicate, particularly where the responsibility of the county government is, which is the ECDs, Early Childhood Development, that quite a number of the kids don't go to school because of issues around hunger. And those who go, because that usually will be a free process. And usually those who go there are unable to concentrate because of hunger. So, and that's the point at which it is very important to build the nutrition levels of kids. Yeah, because that's where all the faculties are growing. The mental faculties, all forms of faculty. In fact, if you miss out on that early process of development, then the kid probably is prejudiced for a long time in his life.
It's Maziwa na Joho?
It's called Maziwa 001. I saw the Facebook and Twitter people hashtag it as Maziwa Joho, but I think when it was launched, the project was very specific, that it was Maziwa 001. 001 is the county code for Mombasa, because there are county codes, the listing of the constitution from number 1 to 47, and county number 1, which has the code 001, in Mombasa County.
But you've been well?
I've been very okay. In fact, this weekend was a lot of activities happening in Mombasa. The diabetic Safaricom diabetic walk, where we had the Safaricom leadership, including Bob Collymore. We had the Sheikh Zayed Marathon. We had our usual
so you
weekly.
Walked, you ran.
I walked. I did not run. The marathon, we were guests to present presents. We only walked to the venue of the rally before that, where we had a rally in Changamwe around Bomu Primary, and therefore that was where we were Bomu grounds. So we walked there. But outside that, I think it was a heavily loaded kind of a weekend, including yesterday when we got well wishers who visited the Coast General Hospital, and they decided that they were going to support the dialysis section from Dubai. So these things come with its own sometimes tidings. So therefore they were quite touched by the levels of services, particularly in healthcare. In fact, if you visit these kinds of facilities, you get a sense that we politicians have for the last 50 years betrayed our people.
Okay. Weda?
Yes, I had a great week. I was in Kisumu on Wednesday, Thursday, Friday on training. I trained people on soft skills, and then I also had occasion to travel briefly to Migori to see what exactly happened to our president.
So what did you find out?
And
Inspector Troon.
Not Inspector Troon, but so that when people posture around and bring in all sorts of lies, then I have facts. I believe you get facts before you talk. Two things. One, in Kisumu, I noticed something I had not noticed before. Instead of the city being beautified, people are building pillars. Huge metal pillars, because the city is turned into a violent city. I remember the same Wednesday, there were some riots from the Oile market. People, they were being told they are supposed to move to so that the road is done. The road is being done, you can see it. And I felt so sad. I felt ashamed that our city, our only city the other side, is being known as a violent city. So that if you're a businessman, you have to protect yourself, you have to do all those pillars. I feel it, it's very bad. And I would urge our people, let us think business, let us not think violence. And again, that same day there were riots. The Wednesday there were riots, then they followed it, I think, on Friday with more riots. And at the airport I met one of our senior lawyers. from Luland, who told me, I can't invest here. It's very sad. When I went to Migori...
Yes, let's talk about Migori.
When I went to Migori, I found there are a few critical issues. One, the part of the heckling was organized. Somebody transported people from... I know one of my classmates from Nyatike mentioned even a name. He said, so-and-so, who comes from our village, was transported to the venue. The other thing was that those who secured the presidential function, they allowed people too close. And then they put poor public address system. So when people started speaking, the other people could not hear, the far off people, and there were many people. So they came close.
So pushing again forward.
Pushing again. Okay, and then they had their meet with some leaders. Some had been transported, show Ms. Obado, this one. So all this put together turned, those people started shouting, and then it turned a bit violent. But one thing which I thank God about is the calmness with which the president dealt with the issue. In fact, had he acted hastily, it would have been, had a shot been fired, there would have been stampede, people would have died, and people would have said, oh, this is what the father did to us. So because of his calmness and so on, the whole situation was saved. And we thank him for that, and we welcome him. We'd like him to come back to Kisumu, come back to Migori, to go to Siaya, so that it's felt all over.
Senator, for what happened in Migori, is it for you, your reading, is it political intolerance? What is it when you...
I think it borders across a lot of issues. That's the political culture we've nurtured in this country. You know, I am a politician myself, and every other time you go to a rally, you put an infrastructure, counter infrastructure, just in case somebody does heckle you. Because there's these types of situations tend then to trickle to the electorate, to insinuate or infer that you might be unpopular.
Yeah.
So therefore, I think it's just a question where we must overhaul our political culture and give expression to those views that we hate most, or we dislike most, or we distaste most. That's the kind of democratic, gravity we must have. If you look at, in fact, this goes across the board. You see, in fact, so sometimes I think the Kisumu hecklers are now known by law. There's this issue that the Cohesion Commission has spoken about, a task force on social media hatred has spoken about. I think I heard President Kenyatta speak about it when he was in the US recently. There are worse of characters in there. They might not throw stones, but what they throw is far worse. I remember I made a comment here to the extent where, President Kenyatta's trip to Mombasa was about the public gallery and Facebook, which I can prove now, because everything has gone wrong. That said and done, I saw a certain cadre of people hurl some of the worst insults on my person. But the only thing is that I've gotten used to it, because I have come from the human rights background where I used to see these kinds of transgressions on the social media. But the fact that we are hypocritical, it's the same people then who now go very vulgar, on certain transgressions. As a society, in fact, what Weda has done is what is the calling of any person who's faithful, whose fidelity is to the law. So therefore, you go and discover what the facts are, and therefore, once you discover the facts, you're objective in your strategy or even in your expressions. So therefore, I think it's a whole culture in this country. So let's not. Migori was a manifestation.
Many members from from Jubilee called and asked for the former Prime Minister to apologize. Of course, it was a statement that he said to have come from the Secretary General ODM. Do you think he should have? Why?
Because you see, Raila Odinga, it demonstrates that CORD is as popular, for instance, with respect to the referendum quest in cost as it is in Nyanza. So to box Raila, but the ODM Secretary General, Anyang Nyong'o, who is the official spokesman of the party, did publish, I think, the party's position, I think, which is, in my view, sufficient. Raila Odinga does not need to apologize. Right? What we need to do collectively is to mentor the young people and to ensure that we give them sufficient public education and capacity in life, hope, for them to refrain from such kinds of transgressions.
Raila do not need to apologize.
No, I really think dragging Raila down is into this issue is sanitizing. What I found on the ground, there are issues that if you go there, you find Raila was not involved. Or if anybody purported to act on his behalf, he was not aware. I don't think so. So dragging him, I think, is just to politicize another issue, make it called Jubilee. What would have been the link from what I found? The people there felt that the governor is betraying them. Do you understand? They feel this is their court governor. Then he wakes up and says, I oppose the referendum. Now, one thing I know about the Luo people, being one of them, we hate betrayers. You remember when Dalmas Otieno was a KANU candidate, he would garner as much as 12,000 votes. As KANU. People knew that is KANU. People know that Weda is Jubilee, and they're happy. You go to Kisumu, you eat and laugh. Now, when you go there and you betray the same Jubilee people, the Luo people say, this one has no respect for us, this is a conman. So they feel, just like the anger you see sometimes against Kedero, they feel you're one of us. We have a contest, then you are betraying us from within. Now that was part of the things that triggered. So when they saw bad one, they say, so you are opposing the referendum, you are on the other side, now we are with you. If, let's say the TNA Secretary General had said the same words, they would clap. If Weda says the same words, they say, yeah, we know you are on that side, it's okay.
At least they know.
Yeah, but when if I went there and spoke against the president, the same people will say, look at this one. He's cheating us. He cheats President Uhuru on this side, he cheats us on this side. So that aspect also played a role. We want, I think people want honesty.
That's credibility. Yeah.
You saw, they welcomed President Uhuru. They knew he'd speak against the referendum, and they have no problem.
At least they know what to expect.
Yes, but if Governor Ranguma spoke against the referendum, Kwisha, if Governor, the Governor of Kiambu, if he went there and spoke against the referendum, they'll say, it's okay, we know you'll say that. So that part of betrayal also has a big contribution.
Weda said that. If I was the one who said it, maybe it would have looked like a political posturing position. But I have heard from a diverse number of actors, it was never about Uhuru Kenyatta. Never. And you see what happens is, there is always this urge by some of us politicians to embarrass some of ourselves when the key leader is there. We want to drive a message to you that this guy you are relying on is not popular. That's the kind of that's the communication that because they have no other ways of communicating. But I just want to say that that culture is not practical. It is not tolerable. So what we needed to do was to accord him his opportunity to speak, and then deal with him. I said that, let's say on Saturday. Those people from the CORD coalition who feel that they want to support the referendum, the people to go against the referendum, the people will express their views, and just know that the outcome of the referendum will be partly or largely the outcome of the election. So therefore, you will lose out in 2017. So you better make your pick now. What is convenient for you.
And before we move away from Migori,
town when I was there, I was in town and I was asked, we know you are on the other side. What do you think about the referendum? Do you support it? Do we bring for you that thing you sign? I told them, you people know very well, if Raila can face the country and say, look, it will not lead to increased taxes, I'll sign it. But as I know it,
he did yesterday.
As I know it,
one of the stories today.
Yes, as I know it,
he's now spoken about. He had you.
As I know it, it will increase the taxes, and people will have to pay more, and your food will have to go up. That you must be prepared. And people were laughing. We were all laughing and cheering. They say, you know, Weda, you need to come on our side so that you help push the referendum.
And we'll talk about the referendum shortly. But finally, on Migori, to have seen a full-page ad put out by the Kirinyaga County government to condemn pretty much just what happened.
Those people who are involved in that line of procurement leading to the advert must reimburse that money from their pockets. That's the worst form of psychophancy, the worst form of abuse of public office and public resources. If you want to condemn such a matter, I think a governor has the gravity to say, I condemn it, and he or she will be heard by the media, even by way of a press conference.
True.
So therefore, and a press conference, I think, costs nothing.
Nothing. Just say you have a press conference.
We'll so he needed to say it, and I think, in fact, I missed it because I didn't see him criticize anywhere else or condemn it anywhere else. But if I can tell you, Sophia, you guys sometimes are quite generous to us, the media. In fact, that's why you have to be very careful of what you say. When we say something from Mombasa these days, I see you reporting us almost every weekend, because what we decided to do is, if people can run amok in Western Kenya, Nyanza, Rift Valley, and Central every day giving political statements and all kinds of political activities, we thought we needed also to profile the coast region for that purpose. So, but that said and done, I think when you say something that, particularly the currency of that issue, it will have been covered. Kidero condemned it. I saw the Kidero condemnation. It was covered across the media houses. So why would they have to expend? I know that page costs about $1.5 million, and he needs to pay it. The governor, he needs to pay it.
Yeah, I call that what I would call ethnic gerrymandering. To him, he looks at it. Kikuyu president has gone to Luland and has been booed, and now what do? I want to protect my brother.
Yeah, and I want him to see.
I want him to see, to know. Yet he doesn't know exactly what happened. He is one of the people who should be preaching the conciliation. It's a fact that the feelings between the Kikuyus and the Luos in this country is a sore wound. There's some wound down there. Any leader, you just try to make it. You don't try to open the wound. So when he does things like that, in fact, had it been that the president had the mind like that fellow and reacted negatively. In fact, he reacted so positively that he earned more supporters. People say, yeah, this is a digital man. This is the man we need. He reacted positively. To him, these were young people. And he dealt with them. And even after that, he spoke. I said, Nitarudi, it's okay, we'll come and talk.
All right.
So those leaders who spend money, either to put adverts or to learn Facebook or to learn all these things, a time will come, we'll prosecute them.
Okay, you mentioned something about the taxes increasing. Would want on your, from your perspective, how you think that would happen. Raila has come out to say Jubilee is lying by telling people taxes will increase.